All right, perfect. You're good to go.
Okay. Dominic, what was the best, like, how do I put it? What was the reason to bring back Neopets? Like, what was there a surge or someone just thought, let's do like movies and everything, let's revitalize, do updates to make it more modern or to help like bring a new generation into it?
Yeah, so I think the way we look at it, Neopets actually never left. I mean, it's always been around. It's the same core community who has been playing the game for over a decade. But in recent years, we're facing a lot of challenges. But I think most of it is really due to kind of mismanagement of the IP and lack of a managerial focus. And then for the past few years, I was originally joined kind of like the parent company of Neopets and at NetDragon, and I was exploring kind of like different ways to revive this IP. And one of the main reason that spiked my interest to joining NetDragon is actually knowing that they acquired this IP as part of a larger deal, like around more than 6 years ago, and I was helping them to kind of like evaluate the whole education tech business that they own. And which Neopets IP is one of the kind of like many IPs that falls under that arm, and that's kind of when we realized that there's a lot of value. Being a long-term player myself, I understand that the community is still very vibrant. There's a lot of users who still has like kind of like a lot of emotional attachment with this IP. And around 2 years ago, well, a little bit less than 2 years ago, I started working on like a side project for Neopets, and that's when I get to work a lot more closer with the core Neopets team, and also getting to understand and get to know the community a lot better. And that's when I realized that there's a lot that we could do and a lot of potential if we were to revive this IP and work closely with the community and be a lot more kind of like transparent with what we're doing. And also kind of responding to the ask and requests of our community and kind of like a core player base. It feels like it's something that could be done, and although we see a lot of challenges as well, but we strongly believe that this is kind of the right path for us to go forward. And also kind of like seeing the whole industry is it's kind of like the gaming industry has been evolving a lot in the past like decade, to be honest, with the rise of like mobile gaming and new business models. But seeing Neopets having kind of like being able to preserve the early internet culture in its purest form is actually quite an interesting way to look at this IP, and we believe that there's a lot of value in the sense of kind of like preserving this culture and really letting a new generation of users to understand what how early kind of like internet days look like and how kind of like browser based gaming used to be. And I
Mhm.
think that itself it's a very kind of like interesting experience for us to try to revive. And yeah, so I think that's kind of how why and how we look at it.
Yeah, because I'm very interested in because to bring a big computer with you to play this game all the time, or if your family didn't have at the time, remember it was the 90s, early 2000s, everyone didn't really have this setup and everything. So to have this now be able to probably be on your phone, your tablet, and everything, this is going to open up new worlds. And I like that idea because now I can bring my friends with me.
Yeah, I mean, Neopets kind of predated kind of like all the social medias out there, like
Mhm.
MySpace and Facebook, and a lot of the kids back then played Neopets as a way to social and to stay connected with their kind of like real life friends back then. So I mean, for me personally, I use Neopets to reconnect with my friends with Canada, because I moved from Canada to Hong Kong when I was in primary school, and then I lost contact with a lot of my childhood friends. And one summer, suddenly like my friend invited me to, oh, you should start playing this game. And it was Neopets, and that's kind of how I got reconnected with a lot of my friends and back in Canada as well.
Mine was because I'm dyslexic and a lot of friends didn't understand it and everything. I met a lot of people on the forum that, oh, I have this. Oh, we can talk, we can understand. Like some people didn't know that they were different or understood that you can use your dyslexic thinking a different way. And you could see it in the games as we played and everything. I met friends in Japan. I met friends like in the Midwest, ran into, like you said, people you didn't even realize were playing were old friends from school and everything, and it was so cool. But then a little bit dropped off because, like I said, my niece and nephew came into the picture, and they would rather play with the stuffed animals than anything and stuff. And I was trying to teach them, and they had their own accounts. But kids are, they just, after a while, they'll stop it. But then I'm hoping my nephew, he's now a gamer, comes back once this takes effect and everything, because he used to love playing, watching me and stuff.
Oh wow, that's interesting. No, that's
Mm.
that. Those are the stories that I love hearing, and kind of like reconnecting with like other players, and how everyone's experience on Neopets is actually very different, but all of the stories combined together really forms the fabric of this whole vibrant community.
And I'm loving the fact that you actually have something coming up based in New York and everything for people. And I'm trying to remember, I'm reading it right now, trying to figure out how to say the name, because with my dyslexia, I do mess up names and everything. But it's at the Nicholas J. Piero Convention Center in Syracuse, New York, that you're having like an auction, and you're auctioning off prizes, packages, and things for the fans and everything. But I also like the idea about New York Comic Con, where you're having the Neopets float around. And I wanted to elaborate on that. Like, what do you mean by float around? Meaning, because a lot of people do miss things at the conventions, but I would love if are they virtual, or are they like stuffed animals? Because I'm trying to read, and I'm like, this is going to be very interesting to snap a picture of them. Because I would love that. Because to have them in the real world, like Digimon and everything, that would even be cool.
Yeah, so what we're doing at New York Comic Con is actually tying it with in-game event that's happening soon. It's called the Fairies Festival. So we're going to extend that and bring part of that celebration into real life at New York Comic Con. So it will be a fairy themed kind of real life experience. It is, and we're not going to have like a full blown like booth. Instead of doing a booth, we're actually trying to do more like an activation campaign. So it will be great for fans to take picture of our fairies that will be kind of like floating around in real life. So that's kind of the main thing. And at the Retro Games Con, we're actually kind of like like we really like we're excited by the idea because there's a charity element to it, and also the Retro Game Con theme. It's a kind of like it's very true of what Neopets represent, and also Buffalo City is actually well, it's not really like next to Buffalo, it's like 2 hours away, and but like New York, upstate New York is actually one of our biggest. We have one of the biggest presence in terms of our player base and activity level is actually in upstate New York. So we believe that doing some community engagement and more campaigns in the area would be kind of like bringing a lot of our fans in real life together.
That I was reading about that. That looks like it's going to be very big, and I wish I can get up there to like promote it and stuff, because live, because this is interesting, because some of my friends were mentioning it and I didn't understand what they were talking about. So I read your article you had sent me for release, and I was like, oh, I would love to be there, because I can meet up with some of my friends that are still playing and everything, and just show the other side of people, like not just their pets, but them as well and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally I would love to be there in person as well, but I guess that this time I'm probably gonna miss it, but it will be exciting to be in New York this time around.
And I was curious about the Game Con in Asia and everything. Is that going to have the same theme as like New York Comic Con, or is it going to be like their own entity as well? Are they doing the same type of fairies and setup and everything?
Yeah, so for Gamescom Asia, it's a little bit more, it's a mix of trade and kind of Comic Con kind of like theme. So like for the first half of the GameCon Asia, it will be more like trade conference. So it's more like industry sharing, like more speaker type of event. And then there will be 2 days where they're open more to the public. So that would the second half of the Gamescom Asia will be more like kind of like Comic Con experience. So there'll be a good mixture of both. And then one of the main reasons why we participate in that is because Singapore is actually one of our top markets overseas, outside of America. It's like one of our top 10 market, Hong Kong and Singapore. So we still have like a pretty vibrant community there. And long time ago, I think we used to have our Asia headquarter of Neopets in Singapore as well. So we'd love to reconnect with our community members there and try to do more kind of like activation campaign and let kind of like the Asian community know that Neopets is back. Neopets among the US and Canada, a lot of our users still play it, but I think in Asia, Singapore is actually one of the main cities where we still have a decent
Mhm.
presence, and we want love to expand from there.
Now, are you branching out like you guys did what I just showed you earlier? If the fans want to see again, then they just fall. But are you going to branch out like this and have the same little friends that we can share and trade with others and everything? Or are we all going to stay in the virtual world?
No, I think well, one of the businesses that we would love to build out is kind of like rebuilding a lot of the licensing and merchandise business that we used to have a lot of. And plushies is definitely one of the main items that we'll definitely bring back. So we are going to launch a series of them. It's hard to say whether we'll have samples early enough at these experiences,
Sorry.
but that will be definitely something down the line.
Sorry, technical difficulties. He dropped on the camera.
No problem.
Yep,
Throw the
that's a Neopet
spotlight.
for you. They want the spotlight only to them. But that would be cool to have these guys again because that was the highlight. Like my niece and nephew love them. Everybody loves these things, like the tie-ins and stuff. I can't wait for New York Comic Con because I would love to see how you guys set that up and get my shots in and everything because this looks like it's going to be even better than before. Like I said, to bring it with me instead of having to bring a big computer or see if anybody has a computer is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys did a good thing by bringing this back, like the way to make it more open to everybody and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think Neopets has always been a very inclusive kind of community. And then like because like what we also believe in is that a lot of our labs users, as asking them to come back and play the game might be a big ask. They might come back and say hi to the pets, feed them, but would they stay engaged? It's like a lot of people have probably moved on with their lives, or they kind of like moved on with playing other games. But because Neopets is such a big part of their childhood and they have a lot of like fond childhood memories, it doesn't mean that they can't come back. But like participating and purchasing merch or kind of like having owning a piece of your childhood memory, it still could mean and bring a lot of joy to them.
That's what I meant to ask too, because when you said come back, are the old accounts still there, or do they have to create new accounts too now that there's a new revamp, new technology and everything?
Yeah, so it really depends on the status of the account. So for some of the more kind of like older accounts, they might have been purged. But I think for accounts that are like around 10 years old, if they're mostly still around. So if you remember your kind of like email and like just reset your password, then most likely than not, you can actually get access back to your account. But of course, there are a lot of nuances where people might have forgot their like old childhood email, or they might not have access to that email anymore. So we're working on a lot of different ways to help lapsed users to come back and kind of like get back into their own account. And we've been getting a lot of these requests actually in the past few months. So we are seeing a lot of users coming back, and our monthly active users, it's back at like a 5-year peak. And so we're kind of like since July, we're seeing like thousands and thousands of users kind of rushing back to the site, which is a great sign.
Yeah, I have to check mine again because I was checking the other day and it said it was there, but then I'm like, password, what password was it? And everything. So that's like you said, it's resets and everything. I'm just hoping I didn't lose a lot of stuff from my
Mm-hmm.
account, but I wouldn't mind recreating one because that's the idea. New adventures, new beginnings.
Yeah, that's also a great mindset.
Mhm. Is there anything the fans should be looking forward to besides New York Comic Con, GameCon Asia, anything else in New York going on, or anything you guys have secretly coming out for the convention that you can spill here, or rather to keep it until the convention begins?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of exciting things that our fans are kind of like having sneak peeks already. And knowing that like November is when we celebrate our 24th birthday. And at the end of the day, we are going to kickstart kind of like a 25th anniversary campaign towards the end of this year. And we always have a big event towards the end of the year, the Advent Calendar campaign. And then we did announce that we'll be revealing a new plot starting as soon as like late this year or early January. So the new plot experience would be definitely exciting for a lot of our fans because we haven't had a new plot in many years. And this time it'll be kind of like a whole new plot, and then our users can come back and experience the plot over the next few months. And that should be quite an exciting journey. And like what we're trying also to do is to rebuild a lot of the transparency and trust with the community. So we are going to do a lot more community engagement activities like AMAs that we've been hosting, kind of like we're launching our ambassador, kind of like community ambassador program to get our communities involved and give us more guidance on where we should be focusing on. We know that there's a lot of work cut out for us, but would love to rely on the community members to give us kind of like their collective knowledge and love for the IP, and we can work together to really bring Neopets back.
I'm hoping because, like I said, to travel with it now, to show a new generation, maybe get my nephew back into playing it and stuff, so that way he can make some more friends and everything. It's a welcome change from the army soldier games. Like, this is something that was more let you think on your feet, educational. Like, this is what we need today for a lot of our children and everything who might be stuck at home, because sometimes during the pandemic, this was perfect. People got to still socialize and still read up with their friends and everything, like reattach. And I'm so sorry about the sirens. This is what happens when you live in New York and everything. It's just perfect timing, because it makes you lose your train of thought. But basically, like, this is the best thing that could have happened, because when I saw this, I was like, this can't be. I'm like, I thought maybe it was just stuffed animals or something, but to see this come back, who would have thought? You know what I mean? Like, now, almost 25 years, like you said, later, it's wow. And
Yeah,
it's just gonna probably be another 25 because of everything.
yeah, definitely that will be our goal. Many more years to come.
Mm-hmm. And is there any questions for, like, fans should know, like anything they should be looking out for besides what we talked about? Or is it just basically what you just said? Everything they're gonna look in the game for?
Let me think. I think we covered a lot of topics.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say like depending on like I think one message we want to get across is that like regardless of whether you're like a long-term fan or people who left us more recently, I think there's always a different experience that you can
Mm-hmm.
enjoy at Neopets. So come back and like say hi to your pets and kind of like
Mm-hmm.
say hi to the community. And I'm sure we can all have a lot of fun, kind of like be part of this journey of reviving Neopets and rebuilding together.
And what's the long-term goal? To keep it going, moving forward, or basically, how do I put it? Are we gonna, like, do spin-offs or anything like that, or just stay within the Neopets world?
No, I think the long-term goal is really turning Neopets into a multi-generation kind of IP with a lot of new game experiences that we're building out. So it's not just only for people who played Neopets in the past, but potentially turning Neopets into a much bigger IP where where we can bring a lot more joy and a lot more fun that we've always set out to do, and introducing kind of this world and this ecosystem to new generations of players and users, and really keeping this IP kind of like keeping Neopets.com as one of the potentially one of the longest living browser-based game experience that one could find. And as part of it will be always the original Neopets.com. We call it like the Neopets Classic, as
Mm-hmm.
like it could be like a living relic for like younger generations to understand what early internet looks like and how this IP could evolve into building completely new game experiences that actually leverage on modern game building technologies, and also kind of like a 3D world of Neopets where people who played the game in the past could only imagine back then, but now like leveraging on all the new technologies and game building methods, we can actually bring that to reality. So imagine you can actually explore the world of Neopets, like the Neopia, in a 3D setting and more like a like first person exploring exploration mode. I think those are all interesting experiences that a lot of our fans would enjoy.
And what about our friends? Have any new friends joined our old friends, or are we expecting to see some new generations from the Neopets, meaning their children? Get it? Like, have they grown over in the game? Are they bringing new friends for them to introduce to our friends, or are we staying with the old classics?
So I think we're already seeing kind of like influx of new users as well, and a lot of our younger users, I would say like 5 to 10% of our current players potentially are kind of like a next generation of the former players. So either they're like kids or like, for example, maybe niece and nephews that got introduced to this Neopets experience. But we have seen in person like kind of like multi-generation players already, where the parents are playing and they introduce it to their kids and then they play together in one household. So there are anecdotes of stories like that, which is very interesting. And like from my own experience, what I see is that if we can extend this, and if my kids could grow up playing Neopets like I did, I think that would be a very interesting experience that not that many games can possibly deliver on that. And also knowing how the gaming industry has evolved so much, knowing that Neopets is always kind of like a very safe environment and a lot like a very inclusive environment for younger generations to play games. Like it's actually quite a natural, I'd say, a gaming platform for people to introduce kind of younger generations to it instead of like leaping directly into all the other mobile games out there, which could be a very addictive or attention grabbing. So yeah, I would say it's actually, the more I look into other games, I feel like Neopets is actually a great game to start with because there's so much you could do. It embraced kind of like diversity, embraced creativity, but in the other sense is also a much safer environment.
Right. And of our Neopets, our actual little friends here, in the game, are there any new characters they should be looking for, or are we dealing with the same guys like right here and everything? Like,
Yeah,
have we
so
added a few?
so we are planning to add new kind of like NPC characters. But we're still exploring whether we could introduce like new Neopet species. So as of now, we don't have plans on
Okay.
introducing new Neopet species, but I think that would definitely be something we'll look into probably like 6 months down the line. I think with the new plot coming, there will be new hero characters. That would be our kind of like near-term focus. And in terms of new Neopet species, is probably something down the line.
And on what platforms can they find Neopets now that it has reached a new generation? Because before it was just regular PC. Is it on Apple, Android? Where else can they find it? Google Play, like that, or any other sites or anything to link up to?
Mhm. So the main game is still a browser-based experience, but it's a lot more optimized for the mobile browsers as well now. So you could play Neopets like the classic.com game on mobile through the mobile browser. And then for some of the new games that we're launching, for example, like a match three social game called Fairy's Hope, it's on the App Store. And then also like we are beta testing another game called Island Builders. That's also like more like a town building simulation game. That's also on the App Store. So we will have these new kind of like more mobile oriented gaming experiences alongside with the kind of like a more browser based oriented gaming experiences.
Pretty cool and everything. I'm glad to see it's back and everything, and I can't wait for New York Comic Con because I really want to see how you guys set everything up. And I can't wait to see the tie-ins with everything on, like you said, stuffed animals, merchandise, and everything. Because I would even love a pin of these guys, like just to wear around on my backpack and everything, you know? Because this was something my childhood when you have limited friends or you're trying to figure out who you are and everything, and you make people that have like minds and everything. This brought a lot of people together, and I'm glad you guys are bringing it back because we do need it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm very excited to be embarking on this journey, and it's also very exciting to see that we are getting a lot of support from our fans and from our community. So it's been a great journey so far.
Thank you so much, Dominic, and I hope I get to meet you at the convention if you're there and everything. And I'm glad that, like I said, this is just my childhood coming back, and I always say there's a reason for everything, and I'm hoping maybe this reason will open up the minds of young ones to see if they want to become computer programmers, designers, or just be someone who takes care of others, like their Neopets and everything, like these little guys here who saw some love over the years and everything. So I hope we get to meet up, and I'm glad. Thanks again for showing us Neopets never died, never went away. It just evolved like everything else.
Sounds great. Yep,
Thanks,
can't wait
Dominic.
to deliver all these new experiences.
Thanks again.